What's going on, guys? Your realtor Sarb sold it back again. I know it's been a little while. I apologize for those of you who might have been waiting, all 20 odd something of you that have subscribed to my channel. But I'm back and I wanted to talk about something that I think is very important to touch on, especially in this market. That is pre-sales and whether or not they are the right move to purchase for first-time homebuyers and investors and even downsizers in 2025. Now, it definitely makes more sense to pick up a pre-sale in this market compared to a resale, and here's a few reasons as to why. Now, historically, pre-sales have always been priced at a bit of a premium compared to resale, let's just say condos. Pre-sale condos have always been a little bit more expensive than resale condos. But now what we're seeing, especially over the last year, when developers have been bleeding, they need to move product, they've been lowering prices, giving more incentives, lowering deposits to make it more favorable. Now, what we're seeing is some projects even be priced lower than resale value. What resale properties are selling at, pre-sales are selling at a little bit less. So you already have that equity built into the home, but you get the 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4-year completion time. Even more time to bank on appreciation and not spend month to month on a mortgage, insurance, taxes, etc. Right? So when you have a situation like that where you can just put down a small deposit, get a great deal, and just bank on appreciation, whether you're an investor or you're actually looking to move in, it's definitely a more favorable route to go. Two, and this is one of the most important ones, and which was kind of drawing a lot of people away from pre-sales, was the 5% GST, especially for first-time home buyers. Now, obviously, what the new Liberal government has done, they've implemented a GST rebate up to $1 million for first-time home buyers who are buying new construction pre-sale homes. So that can be upwards of about $50,000 in tax savings. At the end of the day, it's a rebate, which means that if you're a first-time home buyer and you buy a pre-sale, yes, you will have to pay the 5% GST, but you're going to get it back. You're going to get it all back. So now when you're avoiding property transfer tax, how it always was for first-time home buyers, and now you get to basically avoid GST as well, you're not really paying taxes on your purchase. So that's another reason as to why it's more favorable to pick up a pre-sale in this market, because you get a brand new product that's never been lived in without the GST. Whereas if you go to a resale product, yes, you didn't have to pay GST in the first place, and yes, you don't have to pay property transfer tax, but it's a lived-in unit, it's older, and you don't know what kind of issues or how the person kind of lived in their treat in that unit. At least you know this one's going to be brand new, it's going to be up to spec. You already did your deficiency walkthrough when you do a pre-sale, so by the time the project actually completes, you're getting a well-delivered product if you buy from the right developer. And the next reason is more so for investors. And it has to do a lot with getting a deal, like I mentioned early on, where you're getting a pre-sale at below resale prices. But the big thing is you get a great deal on a pre-sale at below resale prices, but there's no month-to-month cash burn. So you're not paying monthly on strata, mortgage, insurance, taxes, all of that stuff as if you were an investor and you put down 20%. And now you have a condo where you might not even be breaking even. You have a tenant in there. Let's say it's a 1-bed in Langley and you're able to get $1,800 in rent. Your mortgage and your strata and all of that might be about $2,200, $2,300. So you're still going to be cash burning $500 month to month. Where if you buy a pre-sale, you just put a deposit down, bank on appreciation, let it grow at conservatively 3% a year. Usually we see anywhere from 5 to 7% growth each year. But conservatively, let's say it's 3%, you're going to have equity built up. The value is going to go up over the next 2 to 3 years when the market does turn and the tide does shift. And by the time it completes, well, you can either sell it for a profit, or once you actually have your tenant in there, you can cash burn then and wait for it to appreciate even more and then sell it at the 3, 4, 5-year mark if you wanted to. But you get time to your advantage. That's the huge point without the cash burn. Another point is you don't actually have to put too much money down if you're getting a pre-sale as well. Normally, a lot of people gravitate towards resale compared to resale, especially first-time home buyers, because they can come in with a minimum 5% down payment. That typically didn't work for pre-sales. You would have to put down maybe 15 to 20% over the course of a year or two. Now, obviously, as I mentioned before, developers are trying to incentivize buyers to purchase a pre-sale. So what they've done is lower deposit structures. And in most cases, you can actually even negotiate the deposit structure. If you're not able to pay 5%, 10%, something like that, you can break it up. And developers are willing to to listen to that as well and probably even accept certain terms for the deposit structure. So instead of putting 15 to 20% down, some projects you can do 10% over a longer period of time. You can even come into some projects with just a 5% down payment, so it's equivalent to buying a resale and pre-sale, right? Another added bonus for pre-sales compared to resales in this market is you get a lot of the stuff you wish you got with some resale products already included in pre-sales. So I've spoken to several clients, and when they're looking at resale condos, things like that, they have to really do their research and look at the bylaws to see if pets are allowed, if up to 2 dogs are allowed, or what kind of breed is allowed, all of that stuff. Pre-sales all basically allowed up to 2 pets. On top of that, you most of the time now get AC included within your home. So you don't have to search for an apartment that has AC in it. If you buy a pre-sale, you're going to get that, as well as like EV chargers. Things like that, optional upgrades are now coming included in your pre-sale unit. So another benefit to buying those as well. And the last point I'm going to make here is more so investor focus and has to do with the new construction starts actually slowing down. In 2024, they slowed down by about 22%, and into 2025 here, it slowed down to about 9% thus far, and it's only going to slow down into the future. This GST rebate sounds like it's supposed to incentivize buyers to purchase a pre-sale, but it's also supposed to incentivize developers to build faster and to build more, with hopefully demand going up from first-time homebuyers to purchase a pre-sale product. But that still might not happen. So we're going to see new housing starts kind of slow down into the future here, which is great if you're a pre-sale purchaser, because you can again buy at today's low price. And when supply is kind of constrained and faster developments are not going up, it's only going to lead to an uprise in demand and therefore slowly push up prices and put upward pressure on prices. So you can bank on appreciation and you have that kind of peace of mind that, hey, the value will start to go up over the next 2 to 3 years because new housing starts are still slowing down. So there's a few reasons as to why I believe pre-sales are a better purchase than resales in this market that we're in right now. Remember, these pre-sale deals, the incentives, the low deposits, getting a bunch of stuff included, like the optional upgrades included in your unit, being able to negotiate the deposit structure, all that stuff is going to slowly disappear when demand for pre-sale rises. So it's better to take advantage of that now in this slower market so that you can actually see a maximum ROI or a greater return on your investment in the future. So if you want to explore pre-sales, reach out to me. I'm happy to help, give you some guidance, because remember, you have to pick the right project, you have to pick from the right developer in the right location. There's a lot of things to look at before you just blindly invest into a pre-sale. If you want to start and you want to know where to look and you want some guidance, reach out to me. I'm happy to help. And then on top of that, hey, please stay tuned for future videos where I actually break down some of the risks that come with buying a pre-sale. I don't want to take up too much time in this video. But as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown and hopefully agreed with some of the reasons that I gave to purchase a pre-sale. Like I said, if you want to explore those, give me a shout. I'll see you guys on the next one.